Welcome to On the Beat, everyone. I'm Troy Thompson. Richard Schwartz and Patrick Wooten of Richard Schwartz and Associates are in the studio, and today we're talking all about bicycle and pedestrian accidents. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Okay, I choose not to ride a bike because we'd probably be talking about me. How common are bicycle accidents in the state of Mississippi?
A lot more common than you think
Really?
it is. Absolutely. We get bike accidents all the time. The unfortunate part is because you're so exposed, if you get hit by an automobile, the injuries can be very severe.
Really?
Yeah, so.
All right, what are the laws in the state of Mississippi when it comes to bicycle accidents?
Well, very specific. Mississippi did pass a law trying to help bicycle safety, that when you are passing a bicyclist, you have to give 3 feet of clearance. So that is on the books state law. Also, bicyclists have to follow the same rules that automobiles do. So you have to follow the traffic signals, the stop signs, yield signs, everything else. So a bicyclist is held to the same standard when it comes to operating that vehicle that an automobile driver is.
Well, here's a question for you, and it's not on my list, but what about if it's a motorized bicycle? Similar laws or
Same
exactly
laws.
the same?
Same laws.
Really?
And motorcycles would be very similar as well.
Of course. Alrighty, now they're probably really basic questions that I'm about to ask you, but sometimes basic ones are the best ones, right? What do drivers need to do to look out for when they see bicycle riders?
Well, the first thing you do is you got to
And
give
pedestrians, I should say.
Yeah,
as
well, we're talking about pedestrians or bikes?
Bicycles.
Bicycle riding. First thing they need to do is obviously give them the right of way, because bicycles obviously can wobble with the wind. A driver can make a mistake on a bicycle. You have the heavy car. You need to protect the bike driver. They basically have the right of way, so you need to give them that 3 feet.
That.
Well, I mean, you think about a pedestrian and a bike driver, someone who's helpless or can be hurt by a heavy car, they should be given the right of way. And that's exactly what you need to do.
Okay, all right, let's quickly talk about pedestrians, if you wouldn't mind. Where do we stand when it comes to law as a pedestrian?
I mean, the general rule is pedestrian has the right of way.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's heard for years. You have to take into account whether there's a crosswalk or not a crosswalk. So if there is a crosswalk, that pedestrian has to follow the walk or do not walk sign. Plain and simple. If there's not a designated crosswalk, which there are a lot of those in Mississippi, there are a lot of places where there's not a crosswalk, there the rule is the pedestrian has the right of way. So the automobile driver, if they see the pedestrian crossing the street, has a legal obligation to stop and yield to that pedestrian.
Really?
And there's even on the books, if I'm stopped for a pedestrian, it is against the law for another car to pass me going the same direction.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Okay. Is the law different when it comes to adults or children, especially when it comes to bicycles or pedestrians?
Absolutely. I mean, an adult is supposed to be responsible and be able to make good decisions. A child under certain ages cannot even make that decision and cannot be partially at fault or at fault for any accident. And then as you progress in age, then there's a presumption because of their age that they can't be at fault. And then when they become an adult, they can make good decisions and they can be placed at fault at that point.
Okay, and I know probably the answer to this, but I would assume pedestrian and bicycle accidents would be under my car insurance coverage if I was to hit someone.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, how tough are the laws when it comes to pedestrians and bicycle owners to make sure they're doing the right thing as well?
Well, there's something in Mississippi called comparative negligence.
Yeah.
And it's possible that both could be at fault, pedestrian and an automobile. And
Walking a red light.
Yeah. So that's a determination that would have to be before a jury or through an adjusting type system. But basically, both can be put at fault, and there could be some liability on both.
Well, if you want to find out more information, there it all is up on the screen. Richard Schwartz and Associates, they will take good care of all your legal needs. Back after this short break.